we're back. I don't know where. Apparently something died. Must have been my internet. Wow. Not sure what happened there. All right. Sorry. So we've got no prompts. Select account. And then other. Just here. There. So no prompt is going to return a string of nothing. Right? That's going to be, we're going to just leave it out entirely. Select account is going to leave us with a string of select account, and other is going to be a string of str. All right, so that gets us our type. So now we need all of these extra values that we've just included. Let's go back to main. Let's just paste these in here. This is going to be a string list, so let's do, I don't know, repo. What did it say the scopes were? User and repo. Let's do those two. They seem easy enough. Whoops. Let's see. This record expression is expected to have type GitHub auth given there no field with scope within type. I don't know what you're talking about. That's not true. What is login? Oh, it's a possible hint. Oh, but it's optional. I might not want to pass login. We need a new type for this one too then. We'll say not user. And allow sign up. This should be a Boolean. I don't know why I made it a string. It's going to be true or false. There's no reason to make it a string here. We're going to say true. This will be no prompt. What is going on here? That's how we pass scopes, right? Oh, right, because it didn't build last time. That's why. Let's come back here. So we've got all of these here. I still need to figure out why Dune is not building. Ooh, I didn't write the other half of that. That's true. We have the yo JSON for the other half that we need. So I grabbed that one. I also need this one. We'll need this, and we're gonna make this of JSON. So whenever we get a string that says I guess any string, right? It will return other we'll see about that. Otherwise, if we receive, right, because this is mapping from string to OCaml, from JSON string to OCaml record. So if we return a string, or if we receive a string of select account, then this should return select account, and receive anything else, it should be no prompt. Does this work though? Can I say of none? No. That does not work. Let's see. If we get a string of, I need this to be a variable string though. Maybe the variable, maybe we need to map this to no prompt and make any other value the other. And this can be any other value. Can just be okay. Return that. Okay, well, let's get GPT. What am I doing wrong here? A record field with this type. Format this so I can read it. How would I create a JSON unwrapper? Something like this, but correct. Very close. You should make sure that the string case wraps the string in the other. Oh, it was because I didn't have the, the parentheses actually were important. Dang, so close, so close. That's the correct usage of AI while programming, by the way. Ask it one simple question and then close it. Never to look at it again. All right, so now we've got our of EOJSON and our to EOJSON. No prompt is going to come across. We need to change this to no prompt. This is to JSON, so now the no prompt value should get no prompt. Otherwise, the no prompt value should get select account, and then optionally they can pass any string that they want. This will make it as seamless as possible to map to this prompt value. So that's that. How much worse or better are we? Still bad. Implementation of github.pp.ml does not match the interface. Oh, right. We have to update the interface too. GitHub. GitHub.mli. Pass this stuff here. GitHub prompt. Why do you not understand what GitHub prompt is? Do I need to just pass it through? How did I do this in the OAuth one? Oh yeah, I had to create the types over again. Man, it's so annoying. I wish I didn't have to do that, but sometimes we make exceptions to things we don't want to do. Oh, my formatter is not working correctly. Alright, so that gets us that. Clear. right? Smaller errors. Love smaller errors. Unused value token and point. Yeah, I don't care about that. This expression is type A option, but an expression is expected of type string. Actually, we need to do a couple of things right there. We need to make this allow sign up. Yeah, this needs to be a Boolean because that does not make any sense to make it a string. The user shouldn't have to bear the burden of HTTP unwrapping. Savvy will bear that burden for them. So login or allow sign up. That's going to be true. Login. What did we have? Login's not the prompt. Wait, what is login expecting? Login is expecting a string. It probably should. It's optional though, so it should probably be a string option. I was probably right. You know, I'm probably right. Alright, so that gets us that. Oh, let's change it in here too. Login is a string option. How are we doing? Did it actually build? Whenever. Interesting. Alright. Down to these three. Implementation does not match. The module type GitHub client is required but not provided. What? These are all OAuth 2 stuff. OAuth 2 should be working. What did I break? OCaml, my camel. What's up, Tej? That's all we do here. Actually, that's not true. We vibe coded JavaScript just last week. I'm ashamed of myself. Alright. Why is this? Actually, it's in was it in Savvy MLI? Clean this. Implementation of Savvy. Module type GitHub. Your font size needs to be like 5 clicks bigger. Oh, that's good to know. I'm trying to remember how I do that in Kitty. Not that. There we go. Font size 16. Let's go up to 20. 24 feels huge. Let's restart to get the effect. See if this is better. Enormous. Is that better? It's definitely more readable on the preview. All right. Still small for stream. Oh man, I'm gonna need a bigger monitor. I'm gonna have to change my resolution. Oh well. That can be a later problem. Does it even get any higher resolution than this? Oh man. Okay, we'll figure it out. That won't change anything. Yeah, you just need a bigger monitor. You need it big for viewer stream. Got it. Yeah, I'll have to just get a bigger monitor. It's like this one, like I'm wrapping text on these long lines. Oh well. All right. Lost track. Tej, right now we're working on Savvy. We're trying to do the GitHub integration. Figure out how we can get that implemented. And then at some point I have to build a new OCaml app to test out this authorization flow. So we'll see how that goes. Probably not today though. Oh, it's a lot easier because it's easier to look at a glance at what you're working on. Also, it's more obvious where your focus is when people can follow along better. Oh, that's true. I guess looking at it on like the preview, this looks good. Like to me on my screen, this looks like insanely large. All right. The music's not too loud though, right? At least that I've got that going for me. Check your vids and see. Yeah, I'll look at them after this. That's a good call. Okay, good. At least I got the music right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to spend some time just like figuring out the size stuff because it's so hard to like know. It's like being on a Zoom screen share, and I just always just rely on someone to complain before I make things bigger. All right, get this out of here. All right. Wait, what was that here? What were we looking at? Don't match the interface. GitHub clients required but not provided. Savvy MLI, huh? Things get moved around. All right, sounds good. We'll see. I'm not gonna be live a ton longer, probably another 20 minutes. Let's move this up. Maybe that'll work. I just don't understand why this would be complaining. This shouldn't be complaining. Everything in this file has been working this whole time. Why would this suddenly stop working? It's got to be something with main. Let's pretend for a moment we don't have GitHub. Let's see what happens when I don't have GitHub. Does Dune still complain? Still complains. What on earth did I change? I must have misnamed something. Must have misnamed something. So that would mean it's in here that's the problem. Is it this? Oh, that was in the error though, wasn't it? Something about URIT, yeah. URIT, well that's just saying it's unused. Man, unused value token endpoint. Oh, I should go uncomment that stuff in main. I don't want to leave myself in a lurch. Because this did not fix the problem. Okay. Got my GitHub client. I'm calling it GitHub. A prompt. Delete the blow because they can't be configured. Oh, okay. Oh, I'll still need those values though. We'll keep them for now. The auth request and token request So we gotta figure out what this error is. Somewhere, somehow, it's getting mixed up about something. I don't know if it's this. I'm confused about why I have two of these. I'm wondering if these are a problem. Can I just delete that? No, I can't do that because I'm gonna leave myself broken here. I need to move this. I need to move this. I need to consolidate this. What's in here? Is there anything special in here? No, nothing really special in here. This could maybe go in the utils. Could it go in the utils? Let's see. I don't have any modules in here. I can export it though, right? What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's take these out. Let's put this here. All right, so what this does is this is creating a new module called URI. It is, because there's already a module called URI, so it's creating a new module URI. It's including the existing URI module, so we're basically like, if you're in JavaScript world, this would be like extending the prototype. So we're including the URI, and then we are configuring two new properties, toYoJSON and ofYoJSON, so we can use these values with YoJSON, so when we're either encoding or decoding from JSON, it knows what to do with it. So we're using this. I don't feel like utils is the right place for this though. This is a new type. This is a type specifically for URIs used kind of throughout the app. Anywhere where we encode or decode to JSON, we need to use this type. Man, I don't know. This, like, it seems like it stinks to have it in two places though. Let's see. Once again, let's ask the robot. Let's just see what it thinks. There are some options here. We've got an extension of the URI type that I use in multiple files. What is the best way to share that implementation across the repo? For reference, the type looks like this. Reference, it looks like this. Extended URI module implementation across multiple files in OCaml. Place it in its own module file, expose it by an interface. Here's how you can structure it cleanly. Create a dedicated module file. Okay. This seems like a ton of overhead. An interface file. Duh. Yep, use the module in other files. Open my URI. Okay, I mean that makes sense though. Let's create one called JSON URI.ml, and then we'll paste it in here. So that gives us this, and then it says include URI, include T. Oh, it's modified it just slightly. So this does module T. Such a weird, I don't like using single letters. I have a deep aversion to using single letters for things. but it looks like that's kind of a standard. So we'll do type t equals URI.t. So we're stealing URI's type. URI, string URI, yeah, okay. Keeping all that, and then we come down here, include URI, and include t. So let's create a file, JSON URI.mli. So we'll include that module type. And we'll add our values, our new fancy ones, to YoJSON, which takes type T and returns YoJSON.safe.t. Val of YoJSON. What am I doing? I don't need typing practice. So it's not going to know what those are. That's expected. And use the module in other files. Then I can just open JSON URI. All right, let's see how many more errors we've created. Actually, not that many. Actually, no new errors. Wait, yeah. On my value of URI to JSON. That's in GitHub. All right, because I deleted it out of there. Okay, maybe everything worked. You know. That's cool if everything worked. I'm not gonna complain. So that's our JSON URI. Everything here is now happy and healthy. Though my formatter is still absolutely ridiculous. Whoops. Okay. So if we go to GitHub, we can use this in here. Delete this. I'm going to open my URI. I don't really want to open it. This is only for interacting with GitHub. Okay, why was that necessary to know? Alright, so this needs to have, is it JSON URI? Or it has to be a capital JSON. Ow. I'll probably have to update my, oh yeah, I need to update the Dune file. And this needs to go in modules. And we're calling it JSON URI. What am I doing wrong here? That should be JSON URI, right? No, I might need a Dune build first. Let's do that. Modules. JSON URI doesn't exist. What? Oh, you know what we probably need to do? We need to update that utils Dune file. How do I add this to an existing? the same directory as the Dune file. However, if you're doing things explicitly, Dune auto discovers module. Seems like it should be fine then. Let's name utils. Oh wait, is it because I'm using utils? Does this need to be utils dot? Do I need to open utils up here? Unbound module JSON URI. Wait, really? Still no love. If I open JSON, That's what I think it should be. So we've got this was not the task I was thinking I was going to get stuck on this morning. Hey, what's up? I think you might use a public name if they differ, and I see you streaming. Hey, what's up, Les? Lesby. Do you go by Les or Lesby? What should I call you? Might need to use public name if they differ. So that's in the Dune file for utils. I mean, I don't know. Well, let me back up and I'll show you what I'm doing so that this makes more sense. All right, so in the GitHub one, actually, I'll show you it over here. In my modules, or in my files, I've got this URI module that I'm using to basically just wrap the to and of YoJSON properties onto the URI and onto the URI module. And that way I can just use the URI module directly in my configs that are getting wrapped and unwrapped, or encoded and decoded from JSON. And so I was just doing it in all my files, and I was like, surely I can just move this URI block into like the utils directory, because I was doing it in GitHub too. I had it at the top of GitHub up here, and so I moved it to this file, and I naively just kind of accepted what ChatGPT told me about how this should be structured, which, I mean, it's structured pretty much the same way I had it. I don't actually understand why the includes are down here, but I guess the whole thing is the modules. Maybe it doesn't matter. So yeah, so I've got this module, and now I'm trying to include this in GitHub. So like I've got the MLI file for it, so everything just should look the same. The only thing I haven't updated is like the Dune for utils. You need to scope it without JSON.uri.tft include just folds all the contents into whichever scope you're in. Just scope it without. Include just folds all the content into whichever scope you're in. I'm not sure I totally understand. So you're saying well, it's still not it's not even picking it up as a module over here. Foo.ml module foo equals let x include foo rather than foo.foo.foo. Module foo. Alright, so in foo.ml module foo equals blah, and then at the bottom there's an include foo. becomes foo.foo rather than foo.foo.foo. Oh, okay. I didn't think I was doing that though, right? Because so I've got module T. I feel like module T is the worst one. What's up, Goring? Yeah, always OCaml, except for when I'm not. I feel like this module T is maybe what's screwing me up. Should module T actually be, no, should be good to access via JSON URI. As it's included. Should be good to access it via JSON URI to JSON as it's included. Oh, right, because so include, yeah. Oh, I understand now. So we include URI, and that gets us everything in URI. And then I include T, which is up here, and then that just wraps everything from T into the current content. Holy cow. All right, we got it. We made it. All right, so that should work then. So maybe it's the Dune file then, because we've got a utils Dune file, and I'm wondering, well, Dune should unnecessary intermediate step. I mean, it was from ChatGPT, so that wouldn't, I think that would be an argument easily won. Yeah. I think it just makes sense maybe just for structuring, like, I don't know. We'll refactor again at some point, I suppose. But yeah, so now I've got to figure out why it's not registering in GitHub when I try to use it in the GitHub module. And I think that maybe it has to do, you still think public name might be the issue. Okay. So that's this. Oh, right, because can I just do another block in here? I'm trying to remember how these Dune files are set up. File structure. Gotta put an OCaml, otherwise you get weird stuff. Just all about the Dune movie. Wow, that's incredibly small. I just need the stanzas. Is what you'd access it as from the outside. Okay. So like, we can just kind of explore this. Let's see. Let's see, it's in utils. So what if we did a JSON URI, and we move our utils. Come on here. Move that to. Oh, we should put a star on here. What did I just call it? One. Yeah, make directory. Oh, right now we're moving it out of the utils one. Right. So we do that, and we come back in here. We go to our JSON, and then we, I know. Let me just go ahead and create a Dune file in here, and then we can jump back over to the utils Dune file, and we can just snag all this, and we call this one JSON URI, and this JSON URI. I don't need half of this stuff. Actually, I may not need any of this stuff. Well, let's not mess with that for right now. So we come back out of here. Tune build. Okay, and then we come back to GitHub. I still need to figure out how to get this here. I was hoping that was gonna work. I can't even. open it, right? No. Man, if only I was better at OCaml. I still think that's what that ultimately should look like. So we got JSON URI. Okay, that still looks good. This still looks good. This has JSON URI there. The name is right. The name matches. What am I? Is it something in here? Not in there. Where else did I have to mention utils before? Oh, I just used it, huh? Unbound module. Oh. It's not a library, it's a module, right? Am I doing this just completely wrong? Is it this? Is this my problem? Does this just need to be up here? Oops. Oops. That'd be Savvy JSON URI or whichever you had, I believe, since it's using the public name. I'm okay with using Savvy. JSON URI.t. Whoops. Okay. Oh. There we go. JSON URI.t. Yeah. Cursor fix this. No, we're not going to resort to cursor. I'm never going to get better at OCaml if cursor does all of the OCamling for me. Though, I mean, if we're being totally honest, when my very first start of building Savvy, it was how would I generate the structure, the project structure, and I just asked cursor and it generated a lot of project structure for me. Though maybe only about 80% of that project structure still remains. It was still a really interesting way to kind of like kickstart building it. How long have you been OCamling? I've never OCamled professionally. I've been writing OCaml as a hobbyist, on and off, more off than on, I don't know, maybe a year. Whenever TJ started doing OCaml, he talked me into it. So around the time when Tej started doing OCaml is roughly when I started, but he has spent a lot more time in it than I have. I like dabbled in it, whereas he like deep dived and like is good at it and stuff. A peer pressure OCamler. Exactly. And I just really like it. Like I enjoy OCaml. It's like if someone made a TypeScript that was good and made sense and didn't hurt to use it, that's what OCaml would be. All right, that did solve one of our problems. So now we have our JSON URI.t, and I think, like, after battling this for a little bit, I think I'm okay with that. Holy cow, we have so many more errors now, though. Does not match the, oh right, the interface, yeah. GitHub, here we go. So we want, this should be JSON URI.t. All right, URI of string. So that's upset at me. Have you gotten over the syntax? I don't know, what do you mean by gotten over the syntax? You hated it initially. It was definitely a leap. I was not a functional programmer prior to learning OCaml, so there were definitely some aspects of OCaml that did not come as easily to me. Like I like recursion, but OCaml leans a lot more on recursion than like my JavaScript experience would have had me use. So like that kind of like mentality was difficult to get over. It did take me a little while to like change to like use like semicolons for instead of commas, or like understanding what a tuple was. Like I can't even describe how bad it was to like wrap my brain around a tuple. Like even now, like it's such a simple concept, but as a JavaScript person, I kept trying to use tuples instead of arrays. I want to learn OCaml since every OCamler on X are wholesome, but still can't figure out what project to do and lack the prerequisite to do cameling. Barely a programmer. OCaml is still a great place. Actually, this is a great place to segue, because I desperately want other people to learn more OCaml. So let me show you. If you go to OCaml's website, there is the Learn OCaml. Learn OCaml is great. They've got just gobs of stuff, and they actually have, let's see, what do they have under installing? So the install for OCaml is pretty straightforward. Another guy that I interact with pretty regularly from Twitter was on earlier in the stream, and he was showing me the developer preview for Dune. The developer preview for Dune right now looks amazing. You'll be able to, actually you could go get this nightly release if you were like feeling a little spicy. But it's going to basically let you install Dune using this command, and then just run these steps and you're good. You're up. It's going to be a lot like, I think I still feel like it's very NPM-esque, like from JavaScript. Other people prefer to think of it more like cargo-esque from Rust, but essentially then you could just do these commands and you'll have a project. You'll have an OCaml project up. So don't feel like it's not approachable, Goring. And then like if you just get like cursor, you can pull up cursor and you can, once you create a project like this, you can just tell cursor, hey, I want to build, I mean the to-do app is super like cliche, but it does work pretty well in OCaml. You could also build, what did I build? My first app that I built in OCaml was this app called Whenever. So it was like Twitter, but all of the messages self-destruct in 24 hours. My recommendation is just find something to build that's silly. Silly apps are good because you don't get like attached to it, and if it breaks, you don't feel super bad about it. You don't feel like you're gonna turn this into a product someday. But yeah, you could totally get started with OCaml from this route, or like I said, if you go through the installing via OPAM, try to write an introductory article. It might seem like a mouthful, but could do something. You might implement as a CLI after. Oh snap. I gotta get this stream. Hold on, let me pull up stream over on this computer so I can actually click links. Because I'm very interested in whatever that article is that you've written. Twitch. Go to, not that. Stream manager. Yes, I know. Just give me the link. There it is. Alright. Getting to know OCaml by writing a diff checker. Alright, yeah. Fantastic language. May look a bit foreign at first. Having only written C-like languages. Definitely did. Alright. Yeah, this would be a good place to get started. I think that was another hurdle for me, was that like I'm so used to writing web apps that writing CLI stuff just did not appeal to me at first. But once I've started writing stuff like command line, it's way better now. Like I see the power of it, and like, you know, terminal.shop and their whole order coffee over the SSH, doing it all via CLI could be really cool. Yeah. If you are not like a hardcore web programmer, I definitely recommend getting into OCaml first. It'll save you a lot of pain and heartache later. This looks great though. Pattern matching basics, modules and variants. I'm gonna have to read this later. I have to go upstairs and eat here in a minute. Nice. Diff checker in action. Yeah, love this. I'm going to read this some more later. I might tweet this out too. All right. I do have to go though. So this is a perfect place to end. I think CLI can be a good step, because you don't necessarily have to worry about integrating it with web. Yeah, that's true. There's definitely like the pain of like trying to like deal with Internet Explorer. Well, actually, we don't deal with that almost at all anymore, but like Safari and, you know, Firefox and Chrome, and trying to deal with, you know, yeah, just compile and execute. OCaml is great too, because it compiles, the build targets let you compile to a lot of different stuff. Like a lot of times you get like, you know, C# or whatever, and you're just going to be, you're building really specific things, or like Java, right? You have to like tailor all sorts of targets and stuff, and OCaml like does build targets pretty well. Yeah.